Hello, heroes and villains. Welcome to Multiverse. Sorry, I was just busy trying to set everything up on my end. So just give me a minute and we'll get started. And with our friend, we are with our friend Nix, the Black Mask.
Yes, I'm on the villain side, as are we today, because we're going to be doing raids from the villain side. Oh, it's been so long.
Some evil raids. Basically,
Well,
what I did, we did a poll some time ago asking people what side they prefer to play on or they can play on. And basically, it was pretty much 60 on the hero side, 60% on the hero side, 20% on the villain side, and the rest was either option. So what we might do, at least for a while until maybe we decide to change it, is that the last Friday of the month we will play with evil villains, and then we'll play with heroes the rest of the time because there's a lot more heroes. So if I guess we could try one week out of two to play villains, but that would mean there's a lot more hero players that actually want to play. So wouldn't really be fair for heroes. So we're going to try to do that. So the last Friday of the month we should play with evil villains, and the rest of the time we'll play with heroes. I might change that at some point. We may add something else in the mix. We'll see how it goes.
I say we just stay villain side permanently
You're so mean to poor heroes.
and never look back. Oh, you have no idea how much more damage I'm going to be putting out because I'm on my main. Like, we are going to be getting through stuff today with relative ease.
We'll see. Hello, Nixo Wolf. Hello, Abraham Torres. Hello, Arias Zircon. Arias, send a tell to our friend Nix, and he'll invite you to the group. So if you guys want to play with us today, send a tell to our friend Nix, and Nix will be in charge of forming the groups. And make sure you have a character that's combat rating 290. We are going to try to play some. We might play the anniversary event raid, but we'll probably try to play some other raids. So just to make sure that everyone will have access to the raid we want to play. We can't play on the European server. Sadly, I know there's a way we could maybe switch on the European server, but that would mean also starting with a fresh new character, from what I understand. So it's not really an option. Even if we manage to switch to go play on the European server, we would have to start with fresh new characters, and I don't think it would be a very good viable option. Hello, Dylan Davis. Hello, Bruno JP. Yeah, today is Villain Day, Bruno. Hello, Nixo Wolf. We'll play villains again. We'll play villains the last Friday of the month. We'll see how it works out. Maybe it might change a bit in the future, but right now that seems to be the plan.
I'll eventually make it 2 times a month, and then 3 times a month, and then the whole month. Don't worry, guys. One step at a time of global domination. Nice look. Red Lantern to the core.
Oh yeah. I haven't seen people with the new material just yet, so I'm curious to see what it looks like.
I'm not sure if we're gonna be making a video on this, guys, but on test server, there's a lot of balance changes, and it has the forums kind of split as to why it had to happen, but there's going to be a lot of nerfs to powers. There's a little bit of buffs to some powers, like gadgets and mental, like gadgets needed more of a buff. But there's a lot of powers, there's a lot of supercharges, there's a lot of details I think that Multi might want to make a video on, just to go over the forums page, as well as the test server has a new seasonal, lucky seasonal. St. Pat's seasonal. And there's new chromas and stuff for you guys to have a look at.
For the changes, I'm not sure if I'll make a video just yet because it would be a bit pointless if I make a video now and then they end up making more changes. So that video will become obsolete very quick. So let's wait and see what they actually end up changing, because right now they're in the process of testing stuff and they're taking feedback also from people. So odds are whatever changes they made so far or they're planning to make, that will most likely change based on people's feedback.
So we hope.
Well, we'll see. It's true that with the devs, you never know. Dylan David is asking, when did I start playing DC Universe Online? Basically, I started when the game went free to play. When the game went free to play in September 2011, I waited roughly 3, 4 weeks before started to play because I knew that the game going to free to play, there would be a huge surge of new players, and their servers probably would have a hard time keeping up with all the new players. So I waited about 3 weeks, 3, 4 weeks before I started playing the game. And I played as a free to play for about 3 days. I purchased the Batman Legend character, the future Batman Legend character, as soon as after 3 days, I purchased it so that I could be premium. And also, I didn't like playing the Robin character. And then after about a month of being free, of being a premium, I became a legendary, and I stayed legendary pretty much ever since. Oh, Xenocross was asking to join the league, but he's already in the league, it seems.
Oh, he was just asking to be in the league, not like to join us or something. Okay.
But also, I don't know. Just come, Vipers, come on you the USPC or USPS4 server if you play there. Send a tell to our friend Nix, and he'll invite you to the group. And we are on the villain side. The quantum powers are for controller roles. If you play as a quantum player, actually this is a quantum character as well, you are a controller. So you can give out power, do debuffs, and all that good stuff.
I mean, if you're a good player, you can be a tank with any kind of power. I mean, if you were to go into, like, let's say, some really old content that didn't really require much tanking, sure, you can do whatever you want.
Well,
Like
around the
DN,
time
for
of
example.
all of all powers, I think the first one, I was able. We had weapon masteries at the time. Actually, weapon masteries worked a bit differently at the time, but with there was a mod that would give you a lot of defense if you blocked. I forget how much. It gave you basically straight defense if you blocked. So at the time I was playing with my Magneto, which was a mental character, and at the time I was able to not just play as a controller, but when when we didn't have a tank, I would end up being the default tank also. So I had various shields on my loadout. I had the mod that allowed me to have extra defense if I blocked. So I was able to sort of control and tank. When we didn't have a tank, I was able to be the poor man's tank. Although it doesn't work as well nowadays, but way back when, that's what I used to do.
I mean, honestly, if your objective is you only need a little bit of crowd control, then yeah, your tank or your troll could kind of be a tank. But yeah, most cases, I mean, I shouldn't even say most cases. 100% of the time, if you're doing main content, you need an actual tank.
Yeah. Well, it's not as viable as it used to be. Like at that point, around the time of Halls of Power, I was able to tank with my troll, but it was when we were a bit desperate, and these days I wouldn't suggest it. Uh, whenever whenever I try to tank with my troll these days, it doesn't work as well.
What's the best DPS power rebound? Uh, we'll get back to you on that in about a week or two, and then we'll find out.
Yeah, sadly, with the changes they're making, the answer might be different in a few weeks, and also it depends also on a lot of things. It depends on your play style. Do you play range? Do you play melee? Also, do you play by yourself a lot? Do you play with random players? Do you play with an organized league where you know that the healer will be on point? These are all things that kind of are a big deal. Like if you are a part of an organized group and you have a great healer or a great controller that will give you power, a great healer that will heal you properly, you probably can just focus on DPSing and you know that your friends will keep you alive. If you're in a random group and you have no idea if the healer actually knows how to heal, that changes that changes things a lot. I play a lot with random groups, and what I usually end up doing is that I try to get to have loadouts that have a lot of survivability. So I'll try to get some sort of healing in my loadouts in case the healer doesn't do a good job, or I'll try to be self-sufficient in terms of power in case the controller doesn't know what power overtime is. So it's kind of hard to give a one answer fits all, seeing how there's a lot of things that changes that equation. I'm sure Nix would have a different opinion.
I mean, it's kind of hard to tell nowadays. There's just so much that changes up nowadays. That I mean, the answer really could be anything.
That's a cool looking Amazo. But at the end of the day, I'd say play the powers you like playing. I know it's not much of an answer, but it's personally I play DC Universe Online to have fun, and I wouldn't want to play with a power that I don't enjoy playing. So even if you were to tell me that let's say I don't like playing nature power, and you were to tell me that nature power is the most OP power in the world, I still wouldn't want to play it if I didn't enjoy it. So I'd say go with the powers you enjoy, and I'm sure you'll figure out a play style or a loadout that will work well with the way you play the game. Hello, Sparrow Gamer. Lady Deloach, yeah, we are on PS4. Hello, the first Hyper Cage. Hello, King J. Tila Diaz, I'm glad you were able to get inspiration from my video. I know that a lot of people are asking for loadouts, for videos about loadouts. I always find it a bit iffy because again, there's a lot of things that will influence which loadout you might want to use, and also we did not even talk about artifacts. Depending on which artifacts you use, you may switch your loadout according to the artifacts you have with your character. I hope you liked your water power, Keith Gallimore. Thanks, La La Land Bland. Glad you enjoyed the video. Oh yeah, Rage is good. As far as I know, Rage has pretty much always been good, and they did nerf it once or twice, but it's still a pretty good power. The only issue I have with Rage is that I still have a hard time not figuring out, but sometimes I struggle a bit with Rage Crash. Like I sort of understand it, but sometimes I'll rage crash and I'm not sure why, or sometimes I won't rage crash when I thought I should. So there is a subtlety that I don't quite get with rage crash, but other than that, it's a fine power. Oh yeah, thank you, David, Dylan David.
Can't find an OP loadout for gadgets.
I'll try to. Gadget is
Sim? Yeah.
a lot of people have been asking me for a gadget loadout. I'll see what I can do. The issue is that the gadget characters I don't think have a very good artifacts or even any artifacts with those characters. So I wouldn't be able to look into artifacts in details with those characters. Sorry, Nix, I know you were going to say something.
Well, it's just a matter of what are you? Because I'm gadgets, and I think I'm pretty good at the power itself, and I understand it from a might perspective as well as a precision base. So, which would you like?
Dylan David is asking if you were to add another power to this game that hasn't been shown, what would it be? I'm a bit torn. I would love to have some shrinking or growing powers. I understand that, especially for growing powers, may not really be an option in certain maps, or even I can already imagine the people blocking the doors with the growing powers. But that's one power I kind of would like to get. Other than that, obviously, I'd love to get something like White Lantern powers or Black Lantern powers. What about you, Nick? Which power would you like to add?
Black and white lanterns would be pretty nice, honestly. There was one talk. This was quite a long time ago that they wanted to add like a venom, so that you could be kind of like Bane, where you could grow your character a little bit and you would get stronger and stronger. But then there would be issues on top of that, like maybe you wouldn't land as many crits or something like that, or you would take more damage or something like that. But that was way back then. I think that was when I first started playing, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So that would be nice if that kind of thing was to occur, or maybe black lanterns or white lanterns. But I'm up to whatever.
And when you should have with growing or even changing shapes, is that sometimes it messes up the camera. So sadly, it's not something they. That's one of the. That might be one of the reasons why they didn't go with Rage in the end, with Venom in the end. But I assume also that the idea of taking drugs probably didn't seem to like taking drugs to gain superpower. That probably wasn't a popular idea with some people.
No, unfortunately not.
Nix, what aura could we suggest for a Red Death character?
For a Red Death?
Personally, I would go with
Um,
the sparking aura, and right now it's you can probably get it for not too expensive on the broker. I didn't check lately, but the price was going down for a while.
that ultimate red aura might be all right. The new one, that could be an interesting look for your guy. That could be interesting. But yeah, I think sparking would probably be your best bet if you were to go for a speedster. I hope you're super speed.
Well, you can get the ring if he's not.
Well, that too. But then you'd have to keep that ring forever.
Well, it's actually a pretty good ring. I was thinking of making a follow-up video. People had a lot of questions about that ring.
Is there anything I can help you
Yeah,
with?
I mean, everything's good temporarily, right? Because then eventually it'll just become cosmetic.
Yeah.
Like a year or two down the road, like you're gonna want to turf it. Technically, you got to move on because you got to get the better gear. So you need a better ring, but you got to realize what you're gonna give up, right?
Yeah, but the ring goes up to max item 283, which is pretty good right now. And also, it's one of the few rings. Like usually rings don't have I forget. Not defense. Is it defense? Oh yeah. Usually the rings don't seem to have any defense
Is
stats.
there anything
But I've
I
noticed
can
that the
help
flight
you
ring
with?
and the speed force ring actually do have like I think it's 900 defense. So in the grand scheme of things, probably doesn't mean all that much. It's probably not that big of an upgrade. But I was surprised to see that those rings actually get some defense stats as opposed to I think even the OP rings don't have that. So
It'd be a matter of perspective. So honestly, you gotta think of, is defense really that worthwhile? It's mostly just a PvP stat defense, but I don't even know how people can calculate defense when it comes to PvE content. I don't think it's viable, but it's nice. It's a nice, pretty number. You know, it looks okay. But again, I don't know if it has any true relevance to today's content because you'll notice from all the other gear that you get in the equipment supplier here, just for an example, nothing gives you defense. So I feel like that's mostly just PvP. Okay, we just need 4 more guys. Again, if you want to join, Bill inside. Send me a tell. You send a tell to Nix the Black Mask. I'll type it out again, just in case you need to know how it's spelled. There we go.
the best build for beginners, if you're starting the game, I wouldn't worry too much about build until you reach, I'd say at least level 30, and even then afterwards. For a while, you don't worry too much about your build. I'd say once you start reaching end game, then you could probably focus a bit about maximizing your build if you want to. But until then, I wouldn't worry too much about that.
So it's questions like that that's the reason why I want to make my own YouTube channel. So it's when you get to level 30, I personally think that's the right time for you to start looking into a proper loadout, so that you can start putting in some decent damage and that you're doing the right moves that your group would want so that you guys are successful. So that's a subcategory that I'm planning on tackling when I do make my own YouTube channel, which I am planning on doing that down the pipeline. It's a project I have myself starting in March, so we'll see how it goes. So hopefully you guys will want to come join me, and I'll give you the tips and tricks as to how to tackle feats or artifacts information or loadout information. I'll be happy to help you out.
So the reason why I mentioned not to worry too much about that is that you can pretty much play solo by yourself until at least combat rating 290, I would say. Uh, Obviously, you progress a bit slower than you would if you play with people. But also with some of the earlier content, it's getting a bit challenging sometimes to actually get a group to play lower level content. Most players are pretty much done with that content. So normally you can pretty much play by yourself for quite a while, and then when you reach, I'd say, at least when you reach the metal DLC, then you probably should start worrying about that. There's things like feats, maybe there are feats you will get as you play the game. Like the more you play raids or alerts, you'll get the feats for those eventually. But there are feats that sometimes you have to focus on, like let's say there's a feat where you have to defeat X amount of enemies. Well, these feats you could decide to focus on and do them fairly quickly. Obviously, if there's certain maps, you know that you're gonna play for a while, you will defeat those amounts of enemies in the long run. So very often I would tell people people will worry a bit about feats, and there are certain feats that you will complete them just playing the game. Like the amount of raids you need. I forget what's the last feat. I think you need 100 raids or 500 raids. I forget what the maximum is. But the more, as you play the game, there are feats that you will complete whether you want to or not. But there are certain feats that where you may have to focus a bit more, and obviously there are feats where you will need a group to be able to complete those feats. And sadly, if unless you're part of an organized league, you may have to just give up on those.
Or hit up the old-fashioned LFG if you're willing to put in the extra work for that, but it's dicey.
Well, with the LXG, there's two things. The first thing is finding people that still need those feats. That might be a bit challenging. The best example I can think of is the Central City bounties. At some point, no one was running those bounties anymore, so you pretty much had no choice but to play the bounties solo with your character. Uh, but also, there's the fact that people are pretty much done with those feats, so they don't really want to go back and do them. But also, it depends also on the server you're playing on. On some servers, sadly, there's a very low population. From what I understand, the European servers have a lot less players than the US servers, and some of the Xbox servers have even less players, and the Switch server, from what I understand, has even less player. So depending on which server you play, and also of course, villain side always has less players than the hero side. So if you were to play, let's say, as a villain on Switch on the European server, there's probably not that many players on that server. So being able to find, in some cases, 8 other players, 7 other players who need to complete certain feats and certain raids or certain feats that need a group, that will be difficult.
So I think one of the other things I would discuss in my channel is the fact of how do you accomplish the content? What is the content about? You're about to head into a solo. What should you have an eye out for? What's the raid about? What are the mechanics in a fight? Some of those other things I'll be going over in my channel as well. But we are good to go.
We're good to go, so let's go.
Which one do you want to do first? Does it matter?
No, let's start maybe with the anniversary mission. That's a fun one to play. And afterwards, we could try to play one of the older missions that people probably didn't play in a while.
Sounds like fun. We'll queue up both of these raids then. How do you get Green Lantern base items? Well, tell you what, if you wait about a couple of weeks, SM will come out. In survival mode, inside that vendor has a lot of Green Lantern base items. There's plenty of others that are out in the game, but honestly, the best quality base items come from that SM. So you can play the broker for those items if you're not crazy about doing SM. They'll be relatively cheap after a while.
But you're gonna have to play the broker to purchase those items.
Right. Multi, when did you start playing DCUO?
I started not long after the game went free to play.
You're crazy. I wish I was around that long. Nope. I came when Prison Break was the current big DLC.
Prison Break. I think that's around the time I started making videos.
I probably started watching you. You personally? I probably started watching you in Metal, maybe around Metal Part 1, something like that. Maybe before that. Probably before that. Welcome to the villain side.
This flux and speed force is
Hello, Connor. Are we doing good?
Normally, I'd say we try to harness it, turn it to
Oh,
We're in
guys
my
are
natural
wanted.
habitat. Wow, they pushed ahead like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I guess they want
Man
to.
sure doesn't clean up after his own messes, does he?
If you guys are in this chat, try and wait for the group. So I would never encourage this, because that's not good. If people want to go through the rooms slowly and organize, this is kind of chaotic.
How interesting. All paradox entities will be erased.
But people should be in the room now, so
Sorry, but I'm
we
going to
can
have
go.
to break the rules this one time.
I'm not sure if I saw your friend request just yet. I don't check my friend request all that often. So usually when I check my friend request, I have a whole bunch of them. I usually accept them all. Oh,
I got it.
okay. Yeah, we still play.
Well, I still play. I don't know what Multi does these days.
I'm just looking. I'm a tourist. I just look around.
just, you know, I'm just window shopping.
These paradox demons are being drawn by the anti-monitor. But why?
Yeah, that was a bit faster than I remember.
Make this paradox.
Oh yeah.
Me? How presumptuous. I'll
You
chase
get my
him
main.
down, you
You get
go
my
on
main,
up ahead.
Multi.
Oh, I see.
There's gonna be some damage.
So now the ads caught up to us.
Well, tell you what, we're gonna leave this guy to be in this room by himself because he doesn't deserve to with the rest of us. Oh, but he'll pull us in now. Oh, that's disappointing.
That's alright.
I may have to remove the fellow then, because that's not. And like you worry about these things. I don't just see this on just villain side. I mean, I don't know who this slimy person is, but I mean,
there's always people
they
who
know
want
better.
to skip the apps, the ads.
Yeah, you see it on hero side too. But you just gotta be smart.
RP Cage, there's not really missions you can run. There's going to be survival mode that you will be able to play survival mode, and then you will be able to purchase some of the Green Lantern base items from the vendor. there's going to be a vendor or two just for survival mode. But you will also be able to purchase those items from the broker. Those items will be, people will be able to sell those items on the broker. So that will be an option to be able to get those items. If somehow you do not want or cannot run survival mode. And survival mode should start early March, from what I recall from some of the messages that from some of the posts that Meps did.
I kind of wish we would have had it on a test server just to see if there was going to be any bugs that needed to be tested out, and things would have been previewed a little bit. But I guess it's not. Apparently, there's not too many changes from the previous testing.
I assume they'll add some new rewards, but we'll have to wait and see.
I have to see how you think this will actually solve the paradox. Lead the way, Flash.
Could you just... Never mind. I guess that's the best I'll get from you.
Oh, so you defeated the Sunstone, what's his name?
Yeah, we
Arctic
beat the
sure
second
is chilly
one.
this time of
I
year.
forget his too.
See, we were still fighting the ads in the back, so we did not get the credit for
I
that.
saw.
Ah, too bad, so sad.
Like I said, it happens. It's unfortunate. Has to be on my villain side.
Will be destroyed.
Let me guess, Flash. You teamed up with Circe and now she's betraying you?
I don't think...
Because players know better. Players should know better. That's just disappointing.
Yeah, it would be nice if Xbox and PC and PS4 and Switch all were able to play together. Sadly, not an option at this point.
That'll be a tough sell if that was to ever happen.
Yeah, survival mode will have its own special currency. I assume it'll be the same currency we had last year. I forget the name of it.
It is. Let me have a look. It's called Data Chip. I have 20.
Ah, lucky you. You got a head start.
I know, eh? Yeah, head start. If I was really after something, I'd do it.
And I forget, the map was the Owen Science Cell, wasn't it?
No, this is the Teen Titans training room.
Oh, okay.
From that duo, if you remember.
Yes. Ooh, my best character. Well, Nyx is. I assume Nyx is playing his best character. Mine would be my Multiverse character.
Yes, I finally feel at home.
On villain side, well, normally we make videos for about an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. So we'll see how many missions we can fit within that time frame.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear, guys.
But Harper Cage, I would suggest start playing the broker right now. Gather your cash, so that way you should be able to purchase at least some of the Green Lantern base items from the broker.
Fighting the paradox is obviously what's causing it. You'd be a better hero just staying home and doing nothing, but you're too stubborn to sit still.
No, you can't just do nothing. People are suffering.
power of the villain side. That boss stood no chance.
Some sort of a escape.
Beautiful. Did I get my source mark? Gear. Are you picking gear?
Oh, actually, I did not.
Didn't think if it was good enough for you. 322. No. You don't want it. You don't want it.
I probably picked the source mark, but it is a reflex. I don't remember.
I think I accidentally picked a base item at the beginning. I should.
Well, the only reason I would pick the gear would be to salvage it. I'm still increasing. I'm still upgrading the augments of this character.
I actually did some massive changes to my stuff. So I had to go through all my saved exobytes because I changed my origin augments all over. They're now dominant.
So if
on my troll side.
if you was going to add something to the game, what would it be?
I was
Good
to add
question.
something to the game? That is a good question. Charlie asks. Okay. The ability to be able to queue into any instance, no matter if you had a full group or not.
Oh yeah, I second that.
I hate the fact that, like, let's say, for example, Paradox Wave. And you'd have to have all 8 people in order to be able to do it. Though back in the day, there was a portal to be able to take you to it, but it's gone now. But if I could only go in there with, like, 3 people, actually, I'd go in there and I'd solo that instance. Personally. It's good for source marks.
It's good for source marks. Also, there's like 4 or 5 bosses, so it's a good instance. It was a good instance to play solo until they removed the portal.
Yeah.
For Harper Cage, oh yeah, for Harper Cage, just mentioning he only has 3,000. Then you're gonna have to play survival mode to purchase the Green Lantern items. Either that, or you're gonna have to subscribe and so that you can play the broker. How much escrow do I have? Or are you asking Hyper Cage?
Hey, kid. You know, we make a pretty good team.
I'd rather run over broken glass.
Ooh, a collection. 2 collections. So let's get out of here. You're asking Hyper? Okay. Yeah, because if you have a lot of cash in your escrow, Hyper, you could decide to subscribe for 1 month, and then you could play the broker.
It's a matter of perspective. Yeah. You gotta know how to play the broker, though. It's not just a matter of, like, okay, like, let's go play the broker. You need to have an understanding of things, of how much they sell for.
Yeah.
There's some good money to be made in base items or collections or time capsule stuff. But it comes at a price, though. Sometimes you need that stuff. But instead of needing on it, maybe you'll make the money instead. It's the better idea.
Hello, Eddie. Hello, Christian. How much spell point do I have? With this character, I'm not sure. Let us check. Oh, wrong tab. I have 1,115 feet. Oh, actually, I have a few skill points I didn't spend. I have 249. So our per cage, 779,000. Sadly, you won't be able to purchase all that much on the broker with that.
Yeah, not a whole lot. What's the name of your league? His league's name is Absolute Checkmate.
I've been thinking of changing the name, but that's what it is.
My league name is awesome. No, it's well, it is awesome in general, but it's evil. We recently purchased it. My league leader bought it the other day. Cost us quite a penny to get that league name.
Hello, Jeffrey Lane. Albert, we're going to play one mission, but there's someone who says he's going to leave, so you may come in after.
The only thing you need is a villain.
I
Just need
understand
to have a
you might
villain
have done
up
this
to
before,
290
but
CR,
heads up.
roughly around
Since
that
a muscle
range.
had to keep the big guy occupied while you knock out his supports.
Different. The source wall
Charlie, I
is
assume
broken.
you're talking about the
I
cash
have
seller,
already freed myself.
Don't
or is there
let this
people
cycle stop.
selling actual items
Plan's still good.
with for actual cash?
Which you aren't.
He might not be.
Maybe he's referring to
Plan
people who
is,
sell their
let's go.
accounts.
Oh, this is going to fail wonderfully.
Not too sure.
Before, we would fight 1 year
It'll take
at a
more than
time.
that.
But now I have the power to wage this battle every single year at once.
We always need Superman, Jeffrey. Always.
Every single year at once?
No.
So all we need to do is keep coming back and beating you each year? Don't really get how that's a win for you, you big goof.
Keep coming back forever, Flash? Your plan would be to do that forever? You're such an idiot, and you can't even see it.
We give it our all this year, and we suit up next
Right,
year
so
to come
real
back
money,
fighting.
yeah. So there are
Don't
people
worry.
who make accounts, upgrade them up, get them skill points, get them nice-looking auras and all that stuff. Then in the end, they'll offer their account up for real money, like actual real money. But if I'm not mistaken, isn't that not illegal
Great crypto.
in the game?
Uh,
Shouldn't be doing that.
it's probably not encouraged by the
The policy there.
yeah, but
You'll pay.
how can you stop people from doing that?
Exactly. I mean, trade chat, LFG chat.
Your universe.
I'm glad you're going to return soon, Jeffrey.
Oh yeah, you got it.
I'm not one of the best. I'm the best after Nyx.
The anti-monitor shield is
Well, at
down.
least you understand that.
Everyone's going to plunder this world. It's going to be us.
I don't really play DCUO to try to be the best. I just try to have fun.
Or 20.
You can't do both.
No, you can't. It's one or the other.
Oh, well, that's absolute garbage.
It's like walking and chewing gum. You can't do both. You have to choose one.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
In my new universe.
The new Superman from Lois, yeah, I guess I could try to do that. I'm toying with maybe the idea of making a video.
About what?
The Superman and Lois TV show.
Oh, that apparently had a very good premiere. I didn't watch it, but I heard very good things.
There's a good show in there. I just I have the same issue with it that I had with Black Lightning. It's the family drama. The Flash burnt me out on the family drama. When I watched the Flash after 2 or 3 seasons, I was really tired of Joe and Barry always complaining or saying that they had to protect Iris and all the drama around that, and I got really tired of that. And then Black Lightning had the same thing. Black Lightning was worried about his daughters, and it was so the whole family drama was driving me, let's say, a bit nuts. So after I think I watched 3 episodes of Black Lightning, and I couldn't take the family drama anymore. And I have a bit the same issue with Superman. The whole drama about the sons and the emo son who has some sort of psycho disorder and who ends up having the power, and then that kills me.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
The first half of the show was promising, but then when they got into the whole emo son thing, I didn't like it as much. I'll give it probably 3 episodes before deciding.
Attack him.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, right? You have your 2-hour premiere, so that's be like their best quality of an episode. So, what's it gonna be like from here? Do you think the utility belt trinkets are a must-have?
Oh yeah.
No hope to match my strength.
I think they definitely have their place.
Well, they're a must-have because they give you basically 4 trinkets. So.
You have achieved victory this year. And
Yeah, the special
next,
effects were really good on the show. The special effects, the costumes, I really enjoyed early on when he has pretty much just the Golden Age costume.
and so
That was fun.
achieve
Uh,
victory.
Basically,
Hence
the whole bits where
paradox.
we had Superman,
Destroying me
usually
now
that
would
was
be
good,
fitting.
but
There is something
it's going
more
to be like
impressive. I must
it's going to
admit.
be like the CW formula we've had for quite some time. Is that you're gonna have like 50 minutes, 55 minutes of drama and like 2 minutes of action or something like that. With Arrow, they were able to balance it a bit better. But in the later seasons, for the Flash or Supergirl, they went way overboard with the drama. And again, I'm really tired of the whole family drama. So if the whole show revolves around the twins, and if they create not just drama but artificial drama, like when the twins go into the barn, they at first they complain that their dad doesn't want to go to the barn because it's too dangerous, and but then the first thing they do is that they almost kill themselves going to the barn, so they prove that yeah, the barn is too dangerous for them to go in there. So they acted a bit silly to try show to show that, oh, well, maybe they do have powers.
So let's aim for the threat down below, the Star Raid.
Oh, sure. Did we lose someone?
We lost a couple people, so
Okay.
if you guys want to,
So let's wait
send
a
me
bit.
sound.
Yeah, let's wait a bit and see if. So if you guys want to join in, now's the time. We'll wait a couple of minutes for you guys to do so.
Yep, send me a tell. I'll put my name in the chat down below.
Yeah, I know of Obsidian Chill. I think we may have interacted on the forums once or twice, but I could be misremembering. Yeah, well, yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of drama, not unlike Smallville. I hope they give us a bit more Superman stuff. So we'll see. At the end of the day, these shows, obviously, I'm an old guy. I'm not the audience that those shows are trying to please to. From what I understand, they're trying to appease to a younger audience. So it's like shows like Arrows. It's a small miracle that I was able to enjoy that show for so long, because obviously they're aiming at they don't want to attract a younger crowd. So the fact that I was able to enjoy it at least for 5 or 6 seasons, that's nothing short of a small miracle. But I really enjoyed the Arrow. I was really surprised at first. Uh, there was a lot of obviously there was a lot of drama, and it's always a bit weird when you watch those shows and you see people in their mid 20s, early 30s acting like they're 12 years old. I know the whole drama they're trying to create. It's always a bit weird, but if I was able to make abstraction of that and watch Arrow for at least 5 or 6 seasons and enjoy it. For the Flash, after the third season was where they pretty much jumped the shark. Legends of Tomorrow, the first 2 seasons were fun, but after that, even then, the end of the second season, I wasn't too sure about that. Although it was a bit sad, they added John Constantine just pretty much as I gave up on the show.
A couple people had to go,
That's all right.
so we have room, guys.
So if you guys want to come, we have room for some of you guys. Worst comes to worst, we'll go with the amount of players we have. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Legend became a comedy show, exactly, Jeffrey. And
Legends is awful.
well, the first season was awesome, I thought, and then with the second season, it was so-so, and then they turned it full comedy. So yeah, Legends was great at first. Sadly, they went into comedy, and also you could tell that they didn't have quite the budget to be able to pull off what they wanted to pull off, and they had a few characters like Firestorm, like the Atom, that were pretty much special effects heavy. So those were probably very expensive to, especially Firestorm. So and sadly, the first thing they did was it the second or third season? They got rid of Firestorm so that they wouldn't have to do those special effects anymore. And there's even one season where they, instead of using their powers, they gave them each a magical stone, so that the only special effects they really needed to do was like some sort of magical glow around the stones. So yeah, you could tell that we're struggling budget-wise, and a lot of the decisions they made seem to have been to lower the budget of the show. Oh yeah, the
Show was great
Legends
back
should
in
have been a
Cold.
multiverse show. That would have been awesome. But sadly, they did not either have the budget or even the will to do that. It's hard to tell sometimes.
Oh,
Kaido,
you met
nah,
Katie
DCUO
once?
isn't dead. Come on.
You met Katie lots. That's pretty cool. I hope she was a nice person to you.
Lucky
That
you,
would be
Eddie.
interesting.
I'm green with envy now. Yeah, Jeffrey. There's a bit of it's a bit of a strange thing with DC properties. They're spread all over the place. So I understand that in the past they probably made various deals with various studios, so that's probably why. But hopefully at some point they will put all their shows on one platform. DC loading, I don't think it will get a revamp as a whole, but there is a graphic update that's coming for the third quarter of 2021. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see for that. We don't know if is it going to be a big update, a small update. At this point, we don't have any information about that. Oh yeah, well yeah, Jeffrey, I would have to agree with you. DCUO should get better. Yes, we are on the
Yes, we
US
are on
server.
the US
Tell
server,
ideas.
Power to the game. We got that question again. If you were to add a power to the game, I'm trying to give a different answer than what we normally do.
No, I'll stick to my answer. I would go with the growing or shrinking powers. I think it would be a fun power to have. I can imagine a lot of issues, especially with growing. But again, if we could have a White Lantern or a Black Lantern power, I would really like that.
Yeah. What else could we say? Maybe powers like Firestorm or something like that.
Well, we already have atomic powers for Firestorm, or even firepower, depending on how you want to interpret
Oh
the
yeah, that's right. That's right. Darn.
Kryptonian powers. Yeah,
Yeah, sure, that could work.
probably should make a video about that. About the we can sort of fake creating Kryptonians, but yeah, having an official Kryptonian power that would be nice, or the Speed Force powers. Again, I guess it would the way they built the game with the powers separate from the movement mode, and even the iconic powers, the way everything works, they may have to tweak all the powers to be able to make something like that.
Sure.
Plastic Man power would be fun. Sadly, it would
I
require
would
a
be.
lot of animation, so I doubt they could pull it off.
Dota 2, but that would be interesting.
It would be. Yeah, I guess they could. There's the way they've made the powers with like they could probably at the very least they could probably revamp the iconic powers, but yeah, if they added stuff like a Speed Force power, it could be like a mixture of super speed and electric powers.
I think that seems to be our going schedule. Fridays. We've been thinking about trying to shake it up a little bit. We'll play it by ear. I mean, that seems to be what we're doing for right now.
Yeah, they were going to make was it called toxins or venom? Uh, but yeah, I guess
Yeah.
serum. Oh, serum. Yeah, serum. That's it. The serum powers. Yeah, I can see it. I can see some issues down the line. There probably would have been people who would have complained if they showed you getting superpowers by injecting yourself with drugs. So yeah, and even when they first announced it, it was a bit surprising on that front. But depending on how it would have worked, it might have been a nice. They could probably just tweak it and not call it serums. Anyway,
I'm sure they could have. And they could have probably done the animation that doesn't look too bad, honestly. But just the concept, people couldn't look past it.
hello YouTube Riftnix. Pargat Singh is asking about the Snyder Cut. For the Snyder Cut, from what I understand, it's going to be released March 18, I think. So at this point, we saw a few trailers, a few posters, but until we actually see the movie, there's nothing really to discuss at this point. Hopefully, it'll be much better than the Justice League we got a few years ago. But from what we understand, uh, AT&T are the ones who are pretty much forcing Warner Brothers to come up with the Snyder Cut. Warner's did not really want to do it to begin with, and it's easy to understand why. Basically, they decided to get rid of Snyder, and they decided to replace him with Josh Whedon. And if the Snyder Cut comes out and turns out to be a good movie, it will prove that the execs at Warner's made a piss poor decision. So the exec at Warner's are not really happy that they have to produce the Snyder Cut. And from what we understand, they're pretty much doing everything they can behind the scene to almost sabotage the whole thing. Uh, but hopefully it'll be good. And if people want to see more stuff by Snyder, it's gonna have to be really successful. But even then, it's going to be hidden behind the paywall that is HBO Max, and there's gonna be no way to be able to gauge the success of it. So at the end of the day, the executive of DC will of Warner will be able to say that it wasn't very successful, even if it was, or vice versa. So we won't really know the true numbers. And they may decide to tell us that, oh, it wasn't very successful, and then not do any more stuff with Snyder. And seeing Snyder seems already to be focusing on something else anyway. So I don't think they'll do more stuff with Zack Snyder afterwards. But for a long time, people didn't think that we would ever see the Snyder cut. So who knows what could happen. But from the looks of it, like even also today they announced. Is it today or they announced basically a new Superman movie by J.J. Abrams that, from all indication, will focus on a black Superman. So already they're already planning not to use Henry Cavill anymore to play Superman. So they they seem to already be planning not to make any more stuff with Zack Snyder. But who knows? Maybe the Snyder Cut will be popular enough that they'll have no choice but to give people more stuff by Zack Snyder. At this point, we can just wait and see what was going to happen. But first, let's see. Zack is done. Is that official? I know that basically it's pretty much it's been an open secret for some time that Cavill is pretty much done. They're not going. They don't want to use him. The J.J. Abrams has been. I think they're pushing for Michael B. Jordan to be Superman. They've had this idea for quite some time to have a black Superman, which is ridiculous. We already have a black Superman. We already have black Superman. We had a black Superman for like 20, 30 years now, which is called Steel. And somehow people act as if Steel doesn't exist. It's crazy.
That is, I agree.
And later on, they created also Valzad and a few other Black Superman from Earth 23, I think. I forget his name. So but they've been dead set for some time to make a Black Superman, and sadly, it seems at this point there's nothing we can do to stop them from doing that. It would have been nice to see Henry Cavill come back, but the sad thing with Henry Cavill is that he's actually pretty good, and he seems to be a pretty cool dude. But it's the movies he's been in that have been not so good, sadly. Maybe we should cure for, if we don't have whole group, maybe we should cure for a handful of missions. Or should we?
I'm actually waiting to hear back from two people.
Oh,
They
okay.
just said
So,
that
okay,
they
let's
needed
wait.
to complete their.
Too much in a hurry then.
Huh?
Yeah, Keith, he did a good job with The Witcher. Sadly, sadly, it's become clear for quite a few years now that it's almost forbidden to make a movie or a TV show based around a male character, especially white male. And The Witcher was a good example of that. Is that even though the series was called The Witcher, Henry Cavill was supposed to be the lead character. The series focused a lot more on the little princess or even the sorceress. The sorceress was pretty much the lead character in terms of screen time. And there's apparently with the season 2 of The Witcher, it's going to be even worse. Geralt will pretty much be a side character, and the show will focus on the female characters. It's something we've known for quite some time. So there was Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren who wanted to make forget if it was a TV show or a movie, and they were pretty much told by any producers, any producers they approached that they couldn't make a movie if it was their movie or their project if it wasn't female centric, which also explains Picard. Picard also had the same issue. The show is called Picard. You would have thought that Picard would have been the lead character, but they actually focused on that android called Soji, I think. So sadly, it's sad, but that seems to be how things are going right now. So for The Witcher, yeah, Henry Cavill did a good job, but sadly, The Witcher won't be the main character in his own show in the second season. There's been rumors that Henry Cavill might be involved in a Mass Effect movie. Uh, Personally, I never played Mass Effect, but from what I understand, it's a pretty cool game, but also a pretty cool setting. So that could be interesting if he did that. No, I didn't do any tests on the new Supercharger just yet. The Gotham show villain characters. Yeah, I suppose I could add that to the list.
The ever-growing list.
Oh yeah.
Does it see a bottom of that list?
No, it's a bottomless pit of names.
It's the longest piece of paper you've ever seen.
Hey, we're just waiting for. Actually, we do have a full group, so we're just waiting for the mission to start. I guess someone click yes just yet. Personally, I like electric healer. I have to admit I didn't heal a lot with water, so I couldn't tell you which is better. But I like playing as an electric healer fine. It's a bit power hungry, but if you know how to manage your power, not really an issue.
Water can be a lot of fun. Actually, with the nerf that's coming to electric, there's going to be a lot of people switching out of electric to go into water or to nature.
Water, I love the animation. The shark, the power that attacks with a shark, it cracks me up every time I use it.
Absolutely. That's why I picked it for one of my alts. Alright, let's rock and roll.
We played this one some time ago, didn't we?
I'm not sure.
Don't think you can
Forgotten Knights. Not sure just yet. Although I heard I saw some people complain about the guy who's going to write the game. So that's a bit suspect, I guess. But I guess we'll have to wait and see.
That could only mean one thing. I will not go back.
Yeah, people have been saying that Mental is pretty powerful right now. And with the new changes, yeah, a lot of people are saying that that's going to be one of the OP powers. They mentioned Mental, and I forget the other one. I think probably Gadget.
An ambush coordination shows intelligence. Up until now, we've only faced smaller Starro schools. Here, there might be a conqueror. Look, I know we have our differences, but we need to stop it, or else Starro might take over the Earth. Stay alert. These halls. Arthur is here. Play along. And do not alert him that you are working.
Oh no, it's an ambush.
I must find out who is behind these
I'm sure
attacks on Atlantis. I will continue to research the armor you discover. The Starro spores affecting these Atlanteans are still weak. If we attack them now, we can stop the conversion.
I actually have a lot of my henchmen in this group, so we have good quality players. Good quality people here.
I wish put
have to
a
enjoy it
swift
while you
end to
can.
this starfish.
Absolutely.
Munition is fine. I haven't played with it all that much, but
They're using this room as a hatchery. I'm ending this now.
Munitions is a really fun power.
Clever little.
Actually, I think my highest DPS is on my munitions character.
I now control the king of Atlantis.
and Eric
thoroughly
Messias is
enjoyed.
saying he's waiting for the Justice League game from Rocksteady. Is it official, or I've been hearing rumors about that for a long time. Like at some point there were rumors that we're making a Superman game, then it became a Justice League game. Then there were rumors that we're making another Batman game. So I'm
Well, they're doing the Gotham Knights game.
and there's the Justice League versus
Arcane?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's probably the one that they're talking about.
Rushing in is foolish. You'll have to go on without me. I'll catch up. And don't worry. I keep my word.
But for games, sadly, it's always tricky ahead of time to know what's going to happen. Like we saw it with the Avengers game. A lot of people were, let's say, very enthusiastic about that game until it actually was released. Actually, until the beta. When there was the beta, people were not so happy about that game anymore.
Yeah, that's true. Still though, Big Gun is still one of the biggest output damages if you want it fast.
Sorry I'm late, everyone.
Like let's say you're
I don't
doing
know about you guys, but I've had
some sort of a
enough
burn
this
check
damn
and you
starfish. We don't have to do this
Big
the
Gun is
hard
pretty
way.
nice.
Yeah, Ultimate Alliance was pretty fun. Both version. I preferred the first one, but both version of the game was pretty fun. Although I didn't try the latest one that's only on Switch, I think.
I will enslave all of humankind.
Ah,
I hope you don't need
for the Avengers games, it was sort of good, but it had a lot of bad in it.
Humans, I have enslaved the Atlanteans. What hope do you have?
And I was fortunate. I didn't hit some game breaking bugs like I saw a lot of people. There's people who encountered some really bad bugs. I did see a few bugs, although I was playing on PS4, so that might be why I didn't get as many. The bugs were probably more on PC than anything else.
I hope you don't need
But
that
they made a lot of poor decisions with that game. Focusing on Kamala Khan, not a good idea, I thought.
I feel like
No,
that was more so the focus on ethnic diversity rather than on the game quality in itself, and didn't really work.
And even worse, like their first character they added was Kate Bishop, who asked for that. And then they added Hawkeye, which is what they should have added to begin with. But then you end up with they've added basically two archers back to back. And also, they were supposed to add a new character every month. And basically, they've added 2 characters in like 6 months.
Didn't they say they were going to do Black Panther?
Yeah, Black Panther is supposed to be next. Well, Hawkeye will be next. I think Hawkeye comes out in March. So I assume Black Panther will come out next summer. But you have to wonder why they didn't go with the big guns. Add Spider-Man, especially Spider-Man. Spider-Man is probably the most popular Marvel character ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure what was an issue behind that. As long as they have to have the same kind of voice actors and stuff like that, or whomever to do that, or the same kind of model as to what's represented in their own game. I mean, they have the ability to be able to do what they want.
Well, the issue with Spider-Man is that it's going to be a PS4 exclusive. But still, because the game has been in trouble pretty much since it's been released. Ooh, I got an aura.
Good and evil alike can now continue their way of life. Just remember, I've got my eye.
The game has been in trouble since pretty much since it started, and you would have thought that if you want to help the game, take out your A-list characters and add it to the game. Don't add Kate Bishop, and don't and again focusing on Kamala Khan really. So they made piss poor decisions from day one. And sadly, they don't seem to want to change that. So Daredevil could be a good choice, especially with how popular the TV show has been. They had a pretty popular Daredevil has been pretty popular thanks to the TV show, and you would think they would strike the iron while it's hot, as they say, but no, they don't really want to do that. It would seem.
Is there anything I can help you with?
So they could have had a great game with the Avengers, but too many bugs and too many bad decisions made it a not so good game.
And they waited way too long to be able to add enough content. Like, I mean, even this new Spider-Man game is doing the same concept. Like, when are they adding anything to that game?
Well, also the new Spider-Man game, from what I understand, there's barely like 8 hours of gameplay. So a lot of people were saying that they were supposedly they repurposed what was supposed to be an expansion for the Spider-Man game and turned it into a full-fledged game so that they could charge a full price. And from what we saw, that pretty much seems to be the case. There wasn't a lot of content for a full game. Thank you, Teladias. Plays much appreciated. I don't have a Twitter. Twitter is cancer from what I can tell, so I don't really want to go there. But if enough of you guys twist my arm, I might go there. But from the outside, the Twitter crowd seems to be crazy, so I'm not sure I want to go there. Yeah, the Reverse Flash. You read my mind. It looks pretty good. We've had at this point we have quite an embarrassment of riches to be able to make Flash or even the Reverse Flash characters. So that's a nice thing to have. And you can see we should see a few more. Is there more? And as you can see, there's quite a few people who use the new Flash styles. So it's the last time I saw people use a new style that much was when we got the Batman Beyond style. When we had Batman Beyond added to the game, a lot of people were using that style, and now we see the same thing with the Speed Force style. So it's kind of nice to see. So they've I would have to say with that style they've really hit a home run because it really struck a chord.
Disbelief. Do you mean like which power you should be as a DPS? Because kind of just depends on your playstyle as to what you're aiming for here. There's a lot of good choices out there, that's for sure. Yes, okay. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, there's a lot of good choices out there. If you are a membership player, you get a little more access to some of the other powers that others don't. It depends. Do you want to throw fire? Do you want to throw ice around? Work with gadgets stuff?
I would be
I mean,
tempted to
there's
suggest
so
fire
much.
just because with fire, if you switch as a tank, sometimes there's bounties that you could play solo uh, almost at level with a fire tank. So fire could be a good option if you want to be able to play solo sometimes. But at the end of the day, it depends on what you prefer. Like the first tank power I tried was ice. It was the one I could wrap my head around most because basically I would cast the shields to protect myself, and I would cycle through my shields. My loadout was full of shields. I would cycle through my shields, and that would keep me alive. With fire, you heal yourself back, so you keep yourself alive in a different way. You don't necessarily protect yourself from damage, but you heal yourself. And ideally, you want to heal yourself faster than you take damage.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, if you are a member, do you have access to munitions? Because munitions is a tremendous amount of fun. Yeah, but yeah, Amir is absolutely right, and I've said this multiple times. When people ask me what is the best DPS power out there, the answer is all of them. There is a way that people can be insanely powerful by being any of these powers that you're looking at. And trust me, I have seen them. I know what they're like. You say that your fire tank is a hero. That's good. So you want to go maybe rage? Yeah, absolutely. Rage is a great power. You might want to think elsewhere though. Instead of a tank power, maybe you want to try healing type of a power, or a troll type of a power, just so you have some diversity. Just because, I mean, unless you're really harping down on tanking in the game, I think you should try and mix it up a bit. I think for my first 3 characters, I picked one of each. So I went, obviously my main is gadgets. I'm a troll, buff troll. I have a tank, he's ice. I have a healer, he's water. Or I should say I had a healer, he's water.
The sequin urban outfit, no, I think those come from the marketplace, and I didn't really like those, so I never really bothered to purchase them.
Munitions is a controller-based power, yes. Actually, I'll tell you this. One of my most favorite things that I love to do as munitions, I would take my character, and he's right now about the same CR, 320 something. I would take him into that solo where you're fighting Mirror Master. I would set myself up, take all the soders, take my supply drop and everything, and I big gun him. He goes down in one hit. It's one of the greatest things to watch.
Yeah, you're gonna have to make a video about that.
Gotta do it though. It's so much fun.
So I guess we're going to be done for today.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. I think we did pretty good. Did the content and didn't struggle too much for finding the group members. We appreciate you guys for joining us and coming along on the journey.
So next week we'll probably play with heroes next week.
No.
Unless there's some special event I can think of. Next
Oh,
week
well, I'm
is
sure I'll
March.
come up with one.
Oh yeah, this is the last week for the. This is the last week for the Valentine seasonal and also probably for the anniversary event.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't have one for the anniversary event, but it's supposed to be done when SM drops in. But
Also,
absolutely, Valentine's Day, you have maybe a week to go. So if you still need base items for feats, or you're aiming for something in particular that you're going for, a collection or whatever, you got a week starting now.
well, next week if we're crazy, you could try maybe survival mode, but we'll see.
Oh boy, I don't know about that. We'll see.
Well, we could give it a try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Sure.
Of course, we'll have your Frost Nix character, so yeah, it probably won't work. A weakling like that.
I think you can invite. So like I would go in with my hero, and then I would just log out, and I would go into my villain, and you would just invite me in there. Yes, I would do that in that case, because there's no way I'm bringing my hero into SN. That's ridiculous.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it works. We'll figure it out next week. Well, assuming survival mode is out next week.
Yeah, survival mode is like the end game of all end game.
Was Link is saying that it's supposed to be easier this time around. Not sure. I haven't heard anything about that.
Never mind. But anyways,
Well,
guys, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And as always, we'll see you guys next time. Bye bye, guys.
Take care.